Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Alter Ego Podcast. I'm your host, Jack Austin. With me, as always, is the Cyborg. Say hi, Cyborg.
It smells like fish in here now.
It does, but it smells wonderful. Hi, Megan.
Hi.
How are you?
I don't like the smell of fish.
Well, you're weird.
You never bring microwaved fish into a podcast
Especially
studio.
a hot room.
Not true. It's not true.
That's a rule on the door.
Rob is in podcast
Our
jail.
wonderful friend Robert Lamb just brought some of his microwaved salmon so I could have a bite, and it was really good.
It's hard
And
to
you
yell
guys-
at him.
Now it smells god-awful in here.
It does not. It smells really good.
No, it smells like old fish.
You know what else smells like old fish? Ford Supply Company. This episode of Alter Ego is sponsored by Ford Supply Company, makers of all natural and organic soaps for men, with scents like tropical teakwood, citrus IPA, and cypress pine. But I've talked about those. There are some new seasonal scents coming that I don't know if our people could tell us what they are.
I got the new spec sheet for
Little-
their new product.
Little sneaky peeky.
Yeah, just
All
by
right.
the time this comes out,
Yeah.
they will be up and
released.
running.
Hey, by the way, by the time this comes out, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
For
I hope
all
you had
of
a
you.
wonderful
Hope you had a
Thanksgiving and
great
all
time.
of your family came over and nobody got the police called on you and everybody was able to spend time with your family.
Just eat
And here's
mac
a
and cheese and
contingency
smile.
plan. I saw this the other day because my friend Mark sent it to me. People say, what you're having for Thanksgiving, say, I'm going to have beef, and then swing on a family member.
Yes.
That made me laugh so hard.
What are
I
you
was
bringing?
like, this
Beef.
is perfect. What are you bringing? Beef. Bam. So how we're going to do this is I'm going to re-go through this ad, but when I get to Cypress Pine, you're just going to transition straight to it and tell me the holiday scents.
Oh.
And then I'm going to jump back into it, and we're
It's
going
going to be a seamless
double team it.
transition where I have to pull it from memory, too.
You ready?
Oh, boy. Okay.
Ford Supply Company. This episode of Alter Ego Podcast is sponsored by Ford Supply, makers of all natural and organic soaps for men, with scents like tropical teakwood, citrus IPA, cypress pine.
Mint vanilla, cypress and pine, and spiced cranberry.
Isn't
Cypress and pine is somehow different from
Wait,
cypress
no.
pine.
It's not cypress and pine. It's cedar wood and pine.
Hey, even better.
Not as
Visit-
flawless as we'd hoped.
Are you a part of this ad?
I
It
am
sounds
not.
just like
Visit
Jack.
their website at Ford Supply to order online and use promo code Alter Ego to get 10% off your order. Ford soap, real soap, no bullshit.
Sorry, guys. When I get nervous, I speed very highly.
He does.
I'm having a great time.
Yeah,
I need to pull the mic away when I do that.
but no, that was actually good. You're not popping at all. I'm looking at the
Oh,
levels
good.
right here.
No
so
pop,
you're-
no locking. All right, I like
Yeah.
it.
No
Yeah.
popping and dropping.
You know who does pop and lock?
Tony Anello's. Tony Anello's Southern Italian Cuisine and Grills, a hidden gem that's family-owned and operated on the outskirts of St. Petersburg at 1136 Pinellas Bayway South, Tierra Verde, Florida. This is a must-try for a homemade Italian lunch or dinner. Just remember to bring your appetite because the portions are very generous. Call for a reservation today at 727-867-3577 and check out TonyAnellos.com. Sorry I yelled. I'm just excited.
About
Venom.
oh,
And I
Venom,
love
Venom.
that Rob let me know before we walked in. He's like, hey, so Monday's episode you said was the last week of November, but the 30th is Monday. And I was like, I know.
I saw that. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, so the last week of November part 2 is what we'll call this episode. Last week of November
Part 2 of 1.
Part 2 of 1.
Cop doctors.
Today where we discuss Venom and comics. This is one of my faves.
I can tell you're very excited. You have a stack of comics ready to go.
I did bring, well, I didn't bring, okay, so to clarify,
Excuse me,
I did bring a stack of
chest burped.
comics, but what I brought was all of Lethal Protector 1 through 6, just because I wanted to remember to take the picture and show you guys the art from the first wonderful solo venture of Mr. Venom, Lethal Protector. It's a great series. If you haven't read it, you really should. It's what the Venom movie that we discussed last week with Mark Hoffmeyer was based off of, loosely based off of.
Very, very loosely based off of.
But it was still good. And I also brought Venom 30. This is in his most recent run. which is kind of what I want to discuss today and see kind of where things are going. I breezed through it right before we sat in here, and I was like, oh, boy. Because this is setting up directly the newest series, which I have, not the first of the series, but the first offshoot, Symbiote Spider-Man #1 for the King in Black series.
Ooh, that is released on Wednesday of this week.
We've all been talking about, and this cover that I have is bad F&A. I really am excited for this one to come out. And so when Absolute Carnage came out, I just read the Absolute Carnage story. And I have the trades and I have the single issues too. Why, I don't know. But I need to go back and find all those offshoots like the Absolute Carnage Deadpool, Absolute Carnage Scream, which I have, and read all those because I really want the full story. So for this time, for this go round, because I know Megan is very excited for King in Black as well.
I am very much so.
I told him, give us all of them. Give us all the King in Black offshoots because we really want to read them and see where it goes. But before we get into that, as Mark is breezing through them.
I was going to say I've never read this Marvel Venom issue 30, but these visuals are
I was just watching your eyes light up as you were thumbing through the pages.
Am I like a little 10-year-old kid like, oh my God, look at that. Oh my God, look at that.
And I'm kind of disappointed that it's on 30 because at this point I feel like I can't catch up.
That's not true.
Oh, 30. You can
I
breeze
did that
through 30 in a weekend.
In a day, I caught up with all of them. So
you're gonna go through a little bit of news.
Ooh.
There's a lot of bit of news, actually.
Ugh.
News to me.
You said it was only a little. Now you're lying to us.
Yeah, and then I went and looked. I was like, oh, God, I'm wrong. So the first bit of news is Venom related.
Oh.
It's indicating that we might see Mr. Spider-Man in Venom Let There Be Carnage.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Venom Let There Be Carnage?
Yes, it is.
Ooh, I didn't see that. Is that a bit of news?
No,
What?
That's not a bit of
It
news.
was.
That's old news.
Yeah, 3 months ago.
Oh, wow.
But
You got to get on the Instagram.
So, as these things often happen, the new Halloween costumes for next year are already starting to be prototypes and things of that nature. And they released a Venom 2 costume, and it is the traditional Venom. All black, white eyes, big long tongue, big teethy maw,
I'm
but
waiting for
the
something
big
specific.
spider in the middle.
Whoa.
So that makes me think that they are somehow going to allow Tom Holland to show up this go-around. And maybe, just maybe, Venom gets onto Spider-Man, and they do well. But I think the bond between Eddie and Venom lets Venom kind of upgrade, if you will, and then jump onto Eddie Brock, and that's how they are able to suppress Carnage. Please, God, don't one-off Carnage. Don't do that.
They will.
Keep him around. Do not one-off Woody Harrelson and Carnage. I know you guys are listening. Tom Hardy's a big fan of the show. I know he's listening. Tom, this is important. Carnage needs to be a recurring character.
Why are you telling Tom?
He doesn't need to be prominent because he's one of the guys who helps with the writing and the producing and all that stuff. He's
Tell your
very
brother
invested.
Ed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hardy.
I know.
So, Tom, I don't know what kind of strings you need to pull.
wait.
Woody Harrelson, another big fan of the show. Smoke him if you got him. Please tell them you were perfect for Carnage, man. You should really knock it out of the park, and they should not kill you off.
But what if they only do one more?
Then Carnage needs to be there. You know what I mean?
Oh, Carnage is going to be there.
And if we're integrating into a larger universe, why would you throw that ace in the hole down the drain for one movie? Don't do that. Don't do that.
Which Tom is involved?
Tom Hardy.
Oh, I was like, wait a second. Tom Holland is involved in Venom writing? I'm confused.
Pay attention.
I'm just wondering if they if Marvel just goes, listen, you're not getting Tom Holland. It ain't happening.
Yeah.
Do they recast Spider-Man in their own universe?
No, they don't. That would be silly. That would be Sony recasting their own character in their own universe. That's not going to happen.
It's something I see Sony doing.
I don't.
That would
I don't
be
see that
so
happening.
dumb.
But, maybe they do something really cheesy like he sees Spider-Man on TV or something stupid.
Or maybe just Spider-Man in the costume, you never see his face.
Yeah, that could happen.
Possible. That's possible.
That could happen.
And with a voiceover maybe of Tom Holland? Maybe, mayhaps.
We'll see.
Looking for a Tom Holland type.
Yeah.
So here's one. Speaking of Tom Holland, there's a trailer for a movie coming out with him in it that I had no idea he was even going to be in. It's called Chaos Walking.
Is this the Daisy Ridley movie?
Yes.
Yes.
Ah, I heard about this from somebody, but I haven't actually taken the time to watch it. This is an old movie. This is filmed back in like 2018, I think.
So here's your premise. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You guys all sitting down? Releases January 22nd, 2021.
Ooh,
In a
that's soon.
dystopian world where there are no women. Oh, God, this sounds like it sucks already. And all living creatures can hear each other's thoughts in a stream of images, words, and sounds called noise.
Uh-oh.
And it cuts
Losing
off.
me.
Thanks, IMDb.
It's losing me.
Wow. I don't know. Hilarity ensues, I got to assume. Because I don't know.
It's called Chaos Walking, so.
The premise, the trailer looked decent. Looked pretty good. I did not notice that there were no other women but Daisy Ridley.
Does it look high budget or does it look medium budget?
It looks like...
Does it look like After Earth with Will and Jaden Smith?
So there's a difference because there have been some great big budget movies that sucked and some really great low budget movies that have been amazing with what they've got. I feel like I don't know what the budget is for this movie, but it looks like it was used appropriately.
Okay, because I'm worried if it looks too big, it's just going to be like a...
It doesn't. It looks big in scale, but not in like set piece scale. Like it looks like they've used a lot of natural background and a lot of actual locations to film on instead of soundboards or sound stages rather. And I think that's a great idea. Yeah. I love seeing a natural, full on like redwood forest. Like when you talk about Planet of the Apes, I don't know if that was done all on a soundboard, but I know a lot of it was done out in San Francisco in those actual national parks where they have those big trees. And I think
that's cool. You can tell the difference.
Yeah, you can. I mean, Megan knows I'm so guilty of this. I'll look at this and go, that's on a green screen.
Yes, he does.
Because sometimes you can, it's just...
That's on a green screen.
And then
They're
I can't watch
there.
the rest of the scene without realizing that they're standing in front of a green wall, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And I think that's my biggest complaint about a lot of like Justice League and all the Snyderverse stuff.
Yeah.
They're just, the whole movie's on a green wall.
It looks fake.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the behind the scenes stuff where it's just them just fighting nothing in front of a green wall.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I'm going to check out this trailer because I like Daisy Ridley.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I am excited to see Daisy Ridley in something that's not Star Wars, not anything against her portrayal of Rey or what happened there. I just like to see some of these actors branch off and see if they're good.
Yeah, really branch out, do another space movie, really break out a character.
Well, this one, if you look at it, isn't really, I mean, I think she comes from outer space, but it's not an outer space movie.
Gotcha, okay.
It is sci-fi, though, so same genre.
Yeah.
Next one's a little bit of sad news for all of our anime fans out there. Actor Kirby Morrow passed away at the age of 47. He was known as Goku in Dragon Ball Z.
Wow.
That's a big name.
That's a big hit.
So the American DBZ actor who plays Goku, or who has played Goku, I don't know if he's currently Goku, but he's the one I grew up with. He's passed away, which is...
I feel like we are losing people weekly at this point. Like we're announcing deaths weekly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Very sad.
I'm not going to stay on that one, but the next one I've got here, WandaVision on the cover of Empire Magazine.
I saw that.
Right around the corner, baby.
Very
Woo! It was a cool looking
I'm
picture, too.
excited.
So is that going to be a weekly release?
It's got to be. I think that's their model.
Yeah.
Because they can stretch it out, and I'm very happy
I was
going
to say, I don't think they release anything in batches unless it's something that was like previously on television or whatever. So, but I just assumed that it was going to be that
I
way.
feel like they're going to have the model where it's just like, okay, it's 8 weeks of Mandalorian. Boom. And then 8 weeks of WandaVision. Boom.
Yep.
Then 8 weeks of Winter Soldier and Falcon. Boom. Like, it's just going to keep going.
Make it
There's
happen.
always
We always have
something.
something. Yeah. I'm
Disney,
all
that's
for that.
so, yeah. I love that
Genius.
model.
It's
Great.
genius.
That's the same reason, like, HBO was so proactive in cutting up Justice League. Because they're like, okay, let's make it 6 parts. Because it's a 4, you get past that 2-week trial or whatever. You keep them on for another 4 weeks. They're probably in. They'll forget to cancel it. They'll go through all that stuff.
Yeah. And here's one thing that's interesting to me. Do we all remember the heated discussion we had about The Boys getting the cancel culture?
Mm-hmm.
Because they decided to release it in increments
Mm-hmm.
instead of all at once. Where's that for Mandalorian?
Yeah, exactly.
I can't hear you. Oh, that's right. It's okay. It works. You can be patient. Great. Moving on before I get in trouble. Or I go off on a tangent for an hour.
Is Rob going to fire you from Alter Ego?
Rob can't fire me. I can fire me. You know what? I'm fired.
Hello, everybody.
Roll that music back right quick.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh,
No,
my.
kidding.
Nice little flash.
Yeah.
Deadpool 3 moving forward at
heard
Disney
about this. I'm
with
so
new
excited.
writers. Oh, my
Are you guys
goodness.
familiar with these writers' works? Or
I
work, I should say.
I am familiar. I know that when I read it, I was like, oh, okay. Interesting.
It's the Molyneux sisters.
So what are their works again?
They are the
Enlighten
writers
us.
for Bob's Burgers,
Oh,
Yep.
dear God.
which I love Bob's Burgers.
Me
He
too.
loves
So I'm
Bob's
in.
Burgers too. The humor is spot on. with
Yeah, I'm going to say
Deadpool.
there's an easy translation here.
Yep.
Here's the thing.
And they can do funny without having to do the crude part. They can make things hilarious situationally, and I like that.
Yeah.
So that way, if they lean into the MCU stuff, it doesn't strip away all the crudeness and also strip away all the comedy.
Mm-hmm.
To me, there's three factors that are going to make this still a win, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Reynolds,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. Ryan Reynolds is involved in every part of this movie, from production to writing to casting, I'm assuming. I mean, they're going to let him pick finally who's going to be in what.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the MCU,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is amazing and fantastic. And part 3, it's still going to be a rated R movie.
Mm-hmm.
They are not putting the Disney ears on this. They're going to keep it true to the subject matter.
Are they going to do like Searchlight Pictures or something like that, whatever they're calling their
I don't know
R-rated
yet
stuff?
where it's going to be. I've got to imagine it's going to still be under the Fox brand because
Mhm.
they haven't dissolved that.
Well, I know like Fox Searchlight was like their indie brand, and they
Yeah.
changed that to just Searchlight Pictures.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll just kind of start moving things here and there. They have to do a lot of things wrong to mess up Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
And the way they're stacking things up, I don't think
They're
anything's
setting it
gonna
up
go
to
wrong with
win.
it.
They've already made Ryan Reynolds the highest paid, eclipsing what Robert Downey Jr. was making,
Insane.
the highest paid MCU actor. So they are not going to.
They're not taking this lightly.
Yeah.
This is an investment,
They
and they
see
plan
that
on making their money back.
Deadpool can be a cash cow.
Because they can bring in like solid A-list people to like a Doctor Strange or whatever to come in, but also they can bring in their mole men and their
Yeah.
D-level villains
Yep.
and really make something out of it, make it funny.
Yeah.
So they have that whole roster at their disposal.
They're
now.
going to make Deadpool be in every facet of this, even the big time stuff. They're going to put Deadpool in,
Yeah.
that, which is going to be great.
And I hope they save it. They don't just do it every time. They save it for something big.
Yeah. There's a couple news stories that I'll just kind of jumble all into one. There was one from last week that I didn't mention, but I'm going to mention it now, is regarding Black Panther 2. Disney has come out already and said, no, we're not CGIing Chadwick Boseman.
Thank God.
There is only one Chadwick Boseman, and he's no longer with us, and we are not going to put him on in a CGI role. Hats off. Stand up and applause. That's a great idea. I love that. Don't cheapen what we had by putting some, CGI character up there for us to want to just go see
have
that.
somebody do it and then CGI the face on it and
Right.
do all that stuff like they did in Fast and Furious.
That's
And I don't
insane.
mean this in a bad way, but it would take away from the story.
Yeah,
of
you'd be
Black
looking at it
Panther
like,
2.
oh my
You'd be like,
God.
man, and all you'd be able to think about is that. And I don't think that's something that Mr. Boseman would want. He'd want us to still enjoy the art and see his co-workers and his family and his people that he was with continue to enjoy that legacy that at this point he's a pillar in. He's a cornerstone in it now. There's no changing that. And they're going to be moving forward with, I think, Shuri.
I heard somebody's theory on what they should do, and I really loved it, so I wanted to see what you thought of it.
Let's hear it.
Instead of making a singular Black Panther, like, oh, Shuri or M'Baku or any of those people are going to be the new Black Panther, it's more like a secret society mantle kind of thing where like a couple people perform different tasks as the Black Panther. So it's not just one person.
So the idea of the Black Panther is still singular, but it's multiple people carrying it?
Yeah, because one person's not going to fill those shoes.
No, I agree.
So if like you have Shuri traveling the world with her technology and doing all that stuff, doing like Avenger stuff, and then M'Baku is back in Wakanda, protecting Wakanda, and there's just different little. I mean, it's all done under the guise of darkness, so nobody really knows who it is, and it's kind of more like a secret society thing. I think that's really cool, and I think that's the best way to kind of cover up without just singularly replacing Chadwick Boseman with somebody else.
I think that's really cool in theory. I don't see how you could have people be like, oh, who's the Black Panther? Because there's this 5'2" female-looking Black Panther and this almost 7-foot refrigerator Black Panther.
Oh, yeah, those are two very different people.
So I think that idea is great. I think that you don't, I don't know, you don't hide it and say, we're a secret society or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But I think there should definitely be a Black Panther by committee.
I like the team.
Yeah, me too. I think
imagine having a big Black Panther team up where you get like 5 of them.
Or they let M'Baku really stretch out and embrace that white gorilla moniker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And let it be more than that. That would be pretty cool. I mean, he did that pretty well in the first Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
So
just don't do a comic accurate costume, please.
Last one. Black Panther 2 has apparently hired on Tenoch Huerta as a villain.
Oh, is that the guy from Narcos?
It is the guy from Narcos.
Okay.
I didn't want to, I don't know who he is, but I didn't want to say his name wrong. Sorry, dude. I know you're a big fan of the show, but please send me a soundbite with you pronouncing your name.
So whatever they're doing, they already have it all mapped out because they start filming in July.
Yep.
So I'm sure they made their decision. They let it settle for a little bit. They decided what they're doing, and it's full steam ahead now.
So are we thinking that this guy could be Namor?
Oh.
I can see that. He definitely fits the fold. He looks like him.
I think Namor's going to be... I think they're doing this with a lot of properties, and I love it, is bringing these guys in as let's put air quotes, villains, and then instead of them actually being villains, they're just... misunderstood. They've got the different goals. You got to see it from their point. Take a walk in their shoes and see why they are. That's one of the reasons Magneto's one of my absolute favorite villains of all time.
It's kind of hard to argue
because I see where he's coming from, and I'm like, damn, man, I agree.
Yeah,
I
don't like your method, but I understand your message.
Exactly. Speaking of misunderstood and villains and people who could possibly showing up in Marvel movies, there was a really amazing fan theory of who might be Captain Marvel 2's main villain.
Who might this be?
Do you know who it is?
No.
Do you know who it is?
I'm looking at it, so yes.
Rogue.
Oh.
From X-Men.
Oh, my God. Because
in the actual comic book series, that is how it happens. Rogue shows up as a villain. Ooh. And then, hold on, we can actually get a true blue comics Rogue when we introduce the X-Men in full.
Wow.
Because then Rogue can permanently steal Carol Danvers' powers.
There's the mend. Here's everybody coming together.
Yep. And who's going to get Rogue after they memory swipe her or whatever you want to call? Who's going to be able to get her back together? Maybe some guy in a wheelchair? I think it's amazing. I think it's a great idea, and I think they should definitely roll with that.
I get it.
And now you look at it, it's like X-Men, why did they have to be pigeonholed to one movie? Why did the X-Men all have to show up, all 30 characters, all at one time?
The X-Men could be a whole universe in itself.
Exactly.
And it would have been if it wasn't mismanaged. But still.
Yeah. The X-Men can be a faction just like they did the Avengers. Mm-hmm. Because now that we look back, obviously hindsight is 2020, there's enough story for most of these X-Men to carry their own movie.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I would watch a Nightcrawler movie.
Yeah. With the right writer, the right director, and the right actor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any of these characters can be top A-list blockbuster movies.
Yep. I mean, think about it. Jean Grey, Cyclops, Colossus, Beast. Mm-hmm. Any of these guys, I could see them falling. Maybe not all of them getting Title I movies, but they have enough story behind them.
They can appear in other things. They can kind of tease here and there.
Rogue, Kitty Pryde, all of them.
So I got a question to pose to the both of you.
Okay.
And I probably shouldn't have done this live on the podcast, but I'm going to do it anyways.
Oh boy.
Are we, as a group, going to watch the New Mutants?
Yes. I'm so excited to watch the New Mutants. I want to watch it.
Are you not wanting to?
Here's something. I saw a clip of it on YouTube the other day. Just a little minute-long clip. And I was like, ooh, I like this. I want to watch it. I was interested.
Okay.
You seem uninterested.
Mark seems like he's susceptible to seeing critics' reviews.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, when it has like 9% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes like Mark Hoffmeyer and Robert Lamb. They have also said that some of my favorite movies were rotten. So I want to see it for myself.
So who's stupid now?
Yeah, Mark and Rob.
No.
Rotten
Tomatoes
No.
is getting it
There's
wrong.
nothing wrong with it. It's all a matter of perception.
So
who's to say, yeah, this movie sucks, unless it's obviously like one of those really shitty movies.
I guess
like
we got to
The
figure
Room.
out when I need to watch Spy so we can do our New Mutants episode because it's
boy.
out.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to do Swamp Things too.
Ooh.
Not all of them are up. There's only 6 episodes up.
Okay. Well,
How many
have you
are
watched
there?
all 6?
Don't
How many
know.
are there before it gets
Have
canceled?
you watched all 6?
No.
Okay. Have you watched 1?
Uh,
Yeah, that's what
a
I
no.
thought. That we're definitely gonna be doing a Swamp Thing because I have been so pleasantly surprised by watching it, and every time I watch an episode, I without doubt, without fail, message the group and message you and Jen and say, "Have you watched it yet?
Okay.
Are you on CW?"
We're at the end of November, and there's still 4 more episodes to go up on CW. So
Okay.
let's shoot for January.
All
Yep,
right.
that'll be a
All
January
right,
topic.
All right.
Because then we can talk. Because when does WandaVision come out?
January.
Mid-January.
Okay, so
January
we can
15th.
kind of react then
Mm.
to some. We
Yeah.
can do some
Oh,
TV
yeah.
stuff in January,
And we can do our Mandalorian recap by then.
Yeah. So, and then obviously this is part of the Deadpool news that we talked about earlier. Deadpool planning an R-rated sequel, and I want to see how they integrate a rated R character into a non-rated R film or universe, so to speak.
I hope just Captain America walks around.
Here's my
Shushing
favorite,
him.
here's my favorite thing.
Language.
Language.
Here's my favorite thing.
Oh, I need to see that.
Our good friend, well, Captain America's not around. He's done.
Oh, Falcon.
So-
Language.
Yes.
There we go. There we go. So, anybody ever see the movie Be Cool? It was a sequel to Get Shorty with John Travolta.
Yes, but like when it came out.
So in the very beginning, John Travolta has this monologue where he's talking about rated R movies and PG-13 movies.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, and this movie, Be Cool, is a PG-13 movie. And he says, in order to get the PG-13 rating, you know how many times you can say the F word? And he goes, what? And he goes, 1. And he goes, you know what I got to say to that? Fuck that. And that's the time they use the F-bomb. So they could still be PG-13, and Deadpool could still drop an F-bomb.
And they can, because like Hamilton is on Disney Plus, and there's like 3 like monumental F-bombs in that people have seen, and they're like, well, if it's on Disney Plus, people were like pre-hating it before it was released a few months ago, and
It's all about context too.
Yep, and so they're in those moments they don't bleep it out. They literally, as if they record with the episode or the Broadway showing that they recorded for Disney Plus. He just says something else, and the audience laughs or says something. And there's one true F-bomb in it, and you're kind of caught off guard. You're like, oh, because I had never seen it. I've never seen it on Broadway or anything, and it was outstanding. I
hope
you've seen it.
It's a 2-hour movie, and he keeps teasing it, getting
Yes.
cut off, teasing it, getting cut off.
And then right at the
at the final scene, he drops it.
Yep.
But yeah, I got to give my buddy Keith Arroyo, who's a follower of the show, and he sent us that fantastic point that you can say F one time.
One time.
all
in
you
a
need if you say it
PG-13
right.
movie, and it's perfect. You're right. If they bait and switch the F-bomb from Deadpool the whole time, that'd be amazing.
That would be funny.
yeah.
He's just like the whole time.
I would actually like to see them go the Scott Pilgrim versus the Scott Pilgrim is it versus the World route, where Aubrey Plaza, every time she swears, her mouth is bleeped out.
Yeah.
I want to see it. And Deadpool say, I brought this just because I knew it would be a problem.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. Gremlins 3 writer reveals that in the Gremlins 3 reboot, they will not be using any CGI. It'll be all like the other 2 with actual puppets.
Good.
Are we happy to see Gizmo come back?
I mean,
I don't care.
I don't care.
But I think it's awesome to use practical props in a horror movie.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that makes it more real. I like it.
I don't know, CGI little gremlins, that'd be terrifying.
I never saw the second one, so
Well, you said you had a bit of news you wanted to talk about.
it was the Deadpool. writer.
You stole it from
Announcement.
him.
I'm sorry.
No. You highlighted it for me.
But I have a bit of news that I have yet to touch on
Oh.
that's been in the feed, and I skipped over it on purpose
Why?
because I was so excited. And you guys know me. What could it possibly be? Come on.
Doctor
I even
Strange
posted
news?
it on my personal Facebook. I was that excited for it.
Oh.
Come on.
Tampa Bay Bucks news?
Give me something. It's not sports ball related. It is movie
Oh.
related. I'm really disappointed in you that you haven't already spat it out. You don't know what it is?
Wow.
No?
Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing.
It was a major franchise getting announced that it's getting a reboot
I feel like
I
I'm.
haven't been
Disney?
on Facebook, so
from the same people that developed 10 Cloverfield Lane.
I heard about this one.
They also They also wrote the scripts for The Kingdom. Jack
Mhm.
Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Something called Treadstone that I don't know what it is.
Oh, is it the
What?
Predator?
Oh, it's The Predator.
Oh, Predator 5's
I'm
coming out.
Disappointed in both of you for
I don't
not
care.
instantly knowing that. But now I'm pigeonholing myself for every time I'm excited about something. Like, it's Predator. I'm like, no, it's not Predator. But
Either
anyway.
Predator or Doctor Strange.
But yeah, it is going to be fifth in line of the traditional Predator, lineage, if you
Mhm.
will. So that's including Predator 1, Predator 2 with Danny Glover, Predators, and The Predator. And then after that will be the next movie.
I thought
They
that
are
this one
completely
was-
omitting the AVP series.
Yeah, like it never happened. We're totally redacting it. I thought that this one was supposed to be like it goes back in time, or is it way in the future?
I don't know about either one of those.
I read that somewhere.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think they're going to try to somehow reintroduce Dutch.
Yeah. Well, there was a theory going around at because there's a deleted scene at the end of the Shane Black Predator movie where there was a young Ripley.
Yes.
So they were going to say, oh, time travel's involved, and that's how all this, whatever.
Right.
It's either cloning or time travel or whatever it is. So maybe that's what you read?
Maybe.
I did hear about the potential Ripley introduction into the Predator-verse, which is weird. I
Yeah.
don't see where she fits into that truly, and I'm not trying to be any sort of way. I don't prescribe to be the biggest Alien fan of all time. Is she a highly decorated soldier?
Yes.
She is?
Mhm.
Okay.
By the end of all that.
Oh, well, okay, by the
It's
end.
like a Sarah Connor situation.
Gotcha. Doesn't start off that way, but ends that way.
But I'm more of an Alien fan than a Predator
She
fan,
seems like a level 10 survivor for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as
Well, she turns from like Survivor to I'm going to go hunting these things now.
gotcha.
So,
Well, that's killer. I saw the first one and the one where she's on some prison planet.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I liked them.
Mm-hmm.
Liked them both. And I love Sigourney Weaver. So, who knows?
Hey, I got some news.
Let's hear it.
I played Xbox for the first time.
That's right.
He did.
Let's hear your response, your reaction.
Oh,
Let's hear it.
my God.
Hold on. Let's also preface this by saying that Mark is a PlayStation guy, but hasn't owned a console in a while.
Through and through.
Yeah.
Well, I got PlayStation 4. I've had every incarnation of PlayStation, every
Okay.
Nintendo console, but I've never owned an Xbox.
Right.
Last time I played an Xbox was the original Xbox.
Yeah.
Once.
Yeah.
At a friend's house.
Way back when. And this is, I don't think you have any intentions of bashing Sony at all. They have great consoles,
Yeah.
great games.
I haven't played the
great products.
PlayStation 5 yet, but Xbox it impressed me.
You played the Series X, and you played what?
I played Gears 5.
Gears 5. My baby. My
So
child.
okay. So here I was explaining it to my fiance because we went to Target and I found myself walking over to the Xbox section, kind of just browsing, just see what's going on.
I'm sorry, Jen.
And she's like, "Well, why do you like that one?" Because I was thinking about it, and I don't play games a lot. I play a lot of easy, simple arcade style games.
Yeah.
I was able to pick up Gears. I wasn't good at it, but I was able to pick it up and play it, and I had a lot of fun playing it for 20 minutes or however long it was, and I'm like, this is a lot of fun. I could pick it up, simple controls. You show me how to do a couple of things. I was good to go. The last game I played that really made me just bang my head against the wall was for the PlayStation 4. I bought Red Dead Redemption 2. Which
played that one for a bit.
Yeah.
I heard great things about it, and I'm sure it's a fantastic game. But I picked it up, I put it in. The load time was forever. For the first,
yeah, big time.
So it was a leave and come back situation. And then I played it for about 2.5 hours, and it was like 2.5 hours of a tutorial.
Yeah,
how to shoot a bow,
really is.
how to set a fire, how to skin an animal. And after my first session, I paid $60 for that game. After my first session, I'm like, I'm bored. It's already lost my interest, and I'm out. And I never put that game in again.
Yeah.
So this one, I picked it up and I started killing things immediately, and I was in. Because I don't have the investment in games like most people do.
Right.
I'm a casual player, so if I can pick it up, go, oh my god, I played it for an hour and it was awesome.
Yeah.
That's all I need. That's all I need out of a video game.
Yep.
So,
and it's a very action-packed video game with the storyline. I know that Red Dead Redemption, I mean, he ended up getting like the $100 version of it, and he got the
I played the hell out of it.
He did play it. Sure. He did play it for a while, but with Gears, it's like there's such an established story, and there's so much action, literally like out the gate, that I don't see how it really could lose somebody. I don't know. That's speaking for somebody who doesn't play it and likes to watch it.
So the big gripe about Gears was that it seemed clunky and kind of cartoony in the way that their characters were established in the beginning, and people didn't like the aspect of the cover shooter. They loved it or they didn't. They were the Call of Duty guy that wanted to run around and shoot freely and not have to be stunk to cover.
Yeah,
I kind of embraced that. My brother Sean and I picked it up, and we were like, "This seems like what you would really do."
Yeah, it's more real.
It's not a run and gun where you're just going to run full speed ahead.
Right.
I mean, so I'm thinking about Red Dead Redemption. I'm getting more mad thinking about it. Real-time horse riding. I was like, when you're riding from one town to another, or whatever you're doing in the tutorial at the beginning, I'm like, I'm just holding down X and for minutes at a time, and I'm like, this is. If I was planning on playing the game for 100 hours, I'd do a 4-hour tutorial. But if I'm going to play a game for 6 hours, I don't want to do a 4-hour tutorial.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at Gears, and I'm like, I could pick this up and play it twice a week for an hour, and that's all I need. Like, boom, I'm having a good time.
Yeah. And not to mention, let's say there's Gears has evolved because it hasn't always been that way. Yeah. But now there's horde mode, there's escape mode, there's versus.
I was blown away by all those different modes you were showing me,
and I was like, yeah, you can do this, and you can do this, and you can do this.
And I'm sure as a Gears person, you might take this as an insult, but it's not meant to be that way. But it gave me a lot of really happy flashbacks of like PC Doom, like a really high end, intensive PC Doom. And I remember how much fun I had playing that game back in the day where you just pick it up, you play it, and you have a really good time doing it. And the first level of this reminded me of that. Mm-hmm. It gave me that same feeling. So I'm like, this is really cool. I like this.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I think was a big factor for you was when I introduced you to the Game Pass, which I have to give a shout out to my friend Josh for introducing me to Game Pass, because Xbox Live is $10 a month. And he's like, get Game Pass. I'm like, nah, dude, I'm not paying $24 a month to have Game Pass. And I don't know, maybe I wasn't paying attention. Maybe I didn't want to invest in another thing. I see another subscription and instantly I was turned off. I was like, no, not doing that. And then I read it and goes, this takes over your Xbox Live subscription.
You needed that bad, it's a prescription.
You're right, it's a suppository. So
what?
She looked at her phone, guys.
So now
I looked at the phone for a second, and I came back into the suppository.
Now instead of paying $10, you're paying $15, and you're getting all these huge games like Destiny. The base game is now free, and all the DLCs are on Game Pass.
Gears Tactics is on there.
Gears Tactics was on Game Pass.
Disneyland game is on there.
What is that game?
Disney
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts. Well, no, yeah.
So I mean,
and that's all. Like
I was like, oh, I'm only paying $5 extra a month for all these games for free. Okay,
it's crazy.
And let's say one day I decide, you know what, I don't want to do Game Pass, but these games are badass. Now I know I want to go buy it.
Yeah, like I have PlayStation Plus, or I canceled it a while ago, but the game selection is not what I saw on Xbox. It was a lot of, you want Plants vs. Zombies? I'm like, oh, not really. That's not really what I was looking to play, but okay. So, I mean, they had the entire Gears series.
Yeah.
They had brand new like 2K games. They had everything on there.
Yep.
I could play that and never buy an Xbox game.
yeah, exactly. I mean, and it gives you a damn terabyte of memory, so what you don't like, you delete. And you saw the download rates at 350 megabytes per second.
That sucker was up and running, man.
I downloaded games that have taken us all night to download in 30 minutes.
I can't believe the fact that I'm actually contemplating buying an Xbox. That is crazy to me.
Yeah,
I'll probably wait till after the Christmas rush, and they'll be easier to get.
Another thing which doesn't apply to you, but for other Xbox players out there that have their Xbox One X or their Xbox One or whatever, you can manage all your consoles through the app. That's can decide which one you want to be your home console, what you want to do on which, and you can all handle that from the Xbox app. That's the one thing, because my buddy Rhino and I, who was on the Halloween episode, bought PS3s, was it? A long time ago.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years ago.
We bought PS3s and started playing it for Ghost Recon Wildlands and a couple other games, and instantly the big difference is the social features and the interacting and the menu and the way the menu works. I just wasn't a fan of it. I felt kind of clunky. I didn't really know what I was doing or where I was going. That could be part of the fact that I haven't played PlayStation in forever.
I'm somebody who designs UI and UX for a living, and I look at that menu and I go, "Whew."
Yeah,
I hate it.
So
I hate
when
it more
you look
than
at
anything.
the Xbox menu and the Xbox navigating and the way things work, it is head and shoulders better. That's why I found myself saying, I'm switching back over to Xbox. I don't want to play this. The only thing that kept us on there was, what's that game that we loved that you watched me play?
Oh, that
the one with Joel.
zombie game.
The zombie game. Golly gee, everybody loves it. And there are people out there listening to this that go, it's this, and I can't think of it.
No, not Live or Die.
Not Live or Die. Not Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead.
It's not Left 4 Dead. Damn it, what is the game?
It's the one that you guys talked about on the 24-hour podcast.
Yeah.
Like 7 different times.
Which hour? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last of Us.
Last of Us.
Oh, yeah.
Last of Us. So, yeah.
Anywho's.
That was big news.
So what's this episode
Oh,
about?
Wait. After 30 years, The Undertaker retired.
Yeah.
On WWE.
Is it still happening to this minute?
I don't know, but apparently Vince McMahon called it WWF live during the pay-per-view. Ruh-roh.
Whoopsies.
He got a cease and desist from a panda.
Probably. Instantly.
Ooh.
But, yeah, that's cool. Congratulations, Mark Calloway. Huge fan of the show. I know he listens every week. Good job, man. 30 years. We love you. You've made us laugh. You've made us cry.
We'll see you again in a couple years, I bet.
You've made us pile drive our siblings, and, you made us listen to Limp Bizkit for a little while, too. We forgive you for that.
I just imagine any time, like any young teenager, their mom telling them to do something, and then them looking back with that Undertaker look.
Rest in peace.
Take
and then
out
they
the
get
fucking
slapped.
bread.
Yeah, shut up, Johnny. You're not the dead man. Stop trying to pile drive the cat.
Oh, boy.
Stop calling Mittens Kane.
I was going to say, you're trying to get me started about wrestling. I could talk about wrestling for an hour,
Gotta
but we'll save that.
because we got to
We're
get at
going
least
to.
a little into Venom. It's the last episode of NoVenomber.
Yeah, we are going to get into Venom right here, right now.
And go.
Let's talk about where Venom has come from here. You know what I mean? Like Venom in comics, he came as kind of like a for sure. He came kind of like a Spider-Man bad guy.
Yeah,
and
that's what he's known
and that's
as.
how still as I know and love him. But that's changing over time.
That has changed a big time for Eddie Brock, if you ask me. I mean,
but nobody.
He is starting to be involved in world events anymore. Things that are going to affect the entire planet, and him being a centerpiece in that. He's come a long way. He recently was asked to join the Avengers.
Which would
Captain
be
America
dope.
saying, "Yo, come join the Avengers, man. You're clearly on the right side of things.
That's crazy.
We want you." Spider-Man's been an Avenger. Hulk has been an Avenger. Thor has been an Avenger. Are we now putting Venom up on that same tier?
I guess we
Talk
are.
about an OP
Iron
team.
Man. I mean, damn. I think Venom's come quite a long way. And now, with the new story arc, it seems like it's going to be even more so.
Yeah, it gets bigger with every comic that comes out, it seems like.
Yeah, it does. And the build up that's been coming, and I think Venom and Eddie Brock is going to stay that way. I don't think we're going to have any more major hosts, but I think he's starting to become one of those top tier guys that we're going to start seeing in all the major world crossovers, like when it was Ragnarok, or what was the most recent one they had, where it was kind of like the Asgard and Earth had melded and come into one. Do we remember that series? What that was called? You read a bunch of them. But anyway, Venom was one of the offshoot stories of that. And he got those Asgardian runes on him, and he was interacting with major Asgardian characters, and you know, the fact that they've started to involve him in so many big properties, I love it.
He's doing things.
Happier.
I like it.
Yeah, he's. Let's see.
Moving and shaking.
It's funny because when we first did this, we all did our top 10 characters. And I know Venom and Carnage were on mine. I think they were 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to encroach on the top spot for me.
I'm not gonna lie. The more in depth that I read about some of these characters that I might not have known when we first did that, you know, when we do episodes on them, character bios or whatever, like these are the type of characters that find their way creeping to the bottom of my list and up.
Yeah.
Because anybody, it's just human nature. It's like when I know Star-Lord is super badass, and I'm just hypothetically speaking, but if he was number 5 on my list, but I knew nothing about him, and then there's Venom that comes in and I do all this reading and searching on him, it's like now I feel emotionally invested in him because I spent the time to figure him out, and he's fucking cool. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
So
that's the thing. I mean, obviously, we've talked about it on the show before where we collect the Funkos. Our biggest collection right now is Venom.
Yep.
Is Venomized. So not only that, we see certain characters like Red Goblin that just came out. And of course, he's not Venom. He's Carnage. But reading that, you see that and you go, oh, shit, now I really want to read about this.
Yeah.
And where'd this come from? And then you see a quote from the comic and you go, I really want to go pick up that comic.
Yeah, it's like last night. Well, I mean, this whole month, I know we've plugged this before, but we have an Instagram profile of Funko.love, and we actually take pictures, stage our Funkos, and we take pictures of them, and we post them on this profile. And for November, we've done the NoVenomber thing. And last night, I took and staged Red Goblin, and we always put a quote with it from. I try to pull it from the comic if it's from the comics, because obviously Red Goblin hasn't been on the TV screen yet, so there's really nowhere else to pull stuff from. But I had so much fun staging that picture, and now like he said, it's like I see that one little clip and I read the quote that I pull from it, and I'm like, okay, this guy's super badass.
Yeah.
I just realized I haven't seen your guys' stuff pop up in my Insta feed in a little bit.
Well, that's
because that weird algorithm.
Because you're
thing.
a bad friend. But moving on. Yeah. So back to Venom. I brought Lethal Protector because I just love the art on that. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing.
Older story, and all the art inside is super, super duper
dated,
cool.
but it's really
dated,
cool.
but it is super cool. And the story is, I mean, we talked about it a lot when we were, I mean, really in the last 2 episodes, we've touched on Lethal Protector because we talked about the symbiotes and we talked about the Life Foundation and all that stuff. And that generally, that kind of comes in at Lethal Protector.
And then, you know, it's funny because I kind of browsed through Lethal Protector, and then I browsed through issue 30, and I'm like, man, he's come a long way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, currently right now, he's in an alternate universe where Venom has taken over everything.
Ooh.
And all the Avengers are symbiote Avengers. Captain America is a symbiote.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man, Thor, you name it, they're all symbiotes.
Fire with fire.
And they are all being commanded by, spoiler, so I don't want to say, but that guy
Donatello
plays into Eddie Brock in a major way. So, and then after this episode, after this issue 30, I gotta say, issue 31 has got to be the start of King in Black. There's no way.
Which it is, because it comes out next Wednesday. Or
Yeah.
the Wednesday after this episode comes out, December 2nd.
There's also, in this particular comic, a major time jump.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm talking more than a year.
Like in issue 30 or in the whole...
Yeah, in issue 30.
I'm gonna
in
have to
issue
start
30,
reading
it
these.
says, at a certain point, 2 years later, and I'm like,
Oh, boy.
shit.
So does 29 leave off kind of like something's resolved?
No, this one leaves off like something somewhat resolved. 30.
So where does it say 2 years later at the end of this one?
No, right in the middle.
Oh,
And
so
then
you
they
get
kinda-
kind
Yeah,
of
I was
a-
flipping through and I saw that.
yeah.
I was like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
I see it.
Oh, now she's got to see it.
No, I want to look at the art up close anyway, but
But, yeah, and so now I'm excited to see that the first part of King in Black is our favorite guy, Venom, the black symbiote, sitting on top of Peter Parker. So I think we go back to a time where Peter Parker's kind of taken the mantle for people. And I just saw you slipping through that, and I saw Kang the Conqueror, which is amazing.
That is not what I expected from this.
Nope.
You saw that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't see
It
that.
actually does
Well,
say...
spoiler alert, because she saw one of the big things that made me say that's why King in Black is coming.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So, yeah,
Definitely.
it's definitely coming next. I won't
Oh,
necessarily...
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Venom is about to kick off in a major way in the whole entire comic universe.
But I think we're about to bring in a major Venom villain.
Yeah, I agree.
That we didn't really know existed until very recently.
I think this guy that they're bringing in, Null, that we've talked about, I think Null is going to be on the same tier as guys like your Dr. Dooms and your Magnetos, people that are
God, that just gave me goosebumps.
ever-present.
He's like King God
Issue.
level
Yeah.
kind of thing.
That just gave me goosebumps.
He's one of those that nobody's going to be able to beat on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's not even Venom alone. I don't even think they're going to let him be the one to solve this. I think it's going to be a collective effort.
Could this be what pushes him to join the Avengers?
You know, it very well could. It very well
You guys
could.
helped me with my problem, and maybe I'll consider joining your little boys group.
Well,
Yeah.
so that's
Your
brought
boy
up
band.
already. That Null is already brought up to the Avengers.
Okay.
It's already like, guys, this is what's going down. I'm telling you, it's getting serious. And that's kind of why he's invited. Well, hey, let's do this together.
Yeah, if we got something we need to work on.
Right.
Okay.
And Captain America's like, dude, you have shown yourself time and time again. I don't know what people, I hear what people are saying about you, and having met you, I don't believe it. So I think you are a good guy. I think what you're saying is true, and you have the quality to be an Avenger.
They have to figure out if he actually chews the head first, if he swallows the head before they can invite Eddie Brock into the
Yeah, for
Avengers.
sure. Well, that's another thing about Venom is he doesn't eat people anymore. He really doesn't.
Just tater tots?
Yeah, it's just tater tots and lobster.
Chocolate and lobsters.
And lobster
Yeah.
tanks.
But yeah.
Speaking of King in Black coming out next week, though, let's do a quick pluggy plug for old Emerald City Comics.
yeah, our local.
On
If you're here in the St.
Saturday.
Petersburg area,
Yeah, Saturday, I want to say the 6th. What's his name? Greg? I gotta find it.
Pacitas.
No, Greg Horn.
Sorry,
I
that's
knew
a
it was
Parks
something
and
like
Rec shout
I
out.
loved it.
Greg Horn is actually doing signings for the first release of King in Black, and he's
Yeah.
the artist or the writer. Which
the
one is
writer.
he? He's the writer. So he's actually going to be there, and there's going to be like variant covers for
That you
purchase.
can only get from
You
him.
can only get from him,
That's
and
insane.
he's only hitting like 5 comic book stores in Florida that they're going to be available at.
Yeah,
Get it.
and we are going to get
We're
it.
going to go.
You're gonna get all 5?
We're going to go.
No. I want to get the one that only he's got.
Yeah, and it's but yeah, it's Emerald City. It's in Clearwater, Pinellas Park area. You should definitely give it a look. See, that's where
Florida.
we get all of our
Comics.
Yep.
And 99% of our Funkos. They love us over
So
there.
yeah, he said there's a super secret tour variant, which is the C cover, and it's $40, or it's going to be between $40 and $60, but it's signed.
Did he show it yet, or is it?
Nope.
No,
it's a
he's not
You
showing
won't
it at
see
all.
until you're there. So there's an A, B, and C variant cover. The A and B are like $20 or something like that. Or no, the A cover is $20.
I'm excited. I think
B
that's going to
cover's
be a
$50.
busy freaking day at
Yeah.
Emerald City, boy.
We're going to be there.
They've been pumping
before
it
they
out,
open.
man.
They have. They just had the Red Ranger and Zordon there.
Yeah.
I didn't get to go meet him because we couldn't find the Funko box for the Red Ranger, and I didn't want to be creepy.
Oh, I was
and
gonna ask
show
you
up
about
and
that.
be
You
like,
didn't-
"Hi, buddy. How
Nothing?
are you? Love you."
Austin
And there
said-
was a long line, and we had some things going on
Yes, we did.
Saturday.
But either way, I am
They're
definitely not missing this
It's
dude.
in our calendar, like it's in our personal calendar.
So, and that's this upcoming Saturday too.
No, next Saturday. Well, yeah, after this episode releases, yeah, it's December 6th.
Right.
So
We
still have
record just
to-
a couple days early to bring you guys the premium content you deserve.
yes.
That's
Greetings.
true. So yeah, I mean, how about you, Mark? Well, I gotta ask you a question. Maybe I've asked you this before. Maybe I haven't. Either way, you're gonna fucking answer me.
Oh
Wow.
my God, so
Um,
much pressure.
What is the last outside of Alter Ego Marvel story arc that you have read from start to finish?
See, I dropped off being a Marvel guy a long time ago.
That's why I asked.
The Infinity Saga.
Wow.
Long time ago. long.
It's been a while.
Probably late teens
is
the last time, and I'm old.
Wow.
And I know you've read. I mean, we read Carnage USA for this. What else did we read?
That was a little one-off, though.
Yeah.
Still, that's a story arc, start to finish.
I'll tell you, the more you tell me about what's going on at Marvel, the more I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
The more I might actually
You
go out of my
I
way.
think that's pretty funny that you say that, because when you do the same thing for DC for us, when you was like, oh yeah, you need to check out Long Halloween, we're like,
We
all
sure
right,
enough do.
and we
pick it
did.
up.
I mean, that's what I love the most about this podcast, is finding out about things I had no idea about. I can't wait to get some of our guys from Emerald City in here with us too, because they are just boundless fountains of
They
knowledge.
are. It's insane how much they know.
My buddy Dave has a tendency to say something to me like, oh, did you know that Green Lantern's done this? And I'm like, what? What? Tell me more. He's like, yeah, dude, you didn't know about that? I'm like, no, now tell me.
All the details.
Yeah.
head in hand.
Yep.
Tell me
Yes.
more.
Exactly. And he probably gets really tired of me saying, I
So-
want to hear
I
from you.
doubt it. He loves when we go follow him around the store and talk to him about comic books.
Well,
So-
I feel like, they love us because we distract them from their work. We just go in there and start
We
having
go and have fun with
conversations.
them, yeah.
Oh, they love it.
Although we put him
actual
to work-
customers
we
come in
put
and they
him
go,
to
what
work
do
the
you
other day.
want?
So-
we did put him to work.
The last the last Marvel comic I read was that Black Panther story that we read.
Oh,
for the
you
show.
poor sap of
The
shit.
And I was not a fan.
omnibus
No.
of things that were important to Black Panther. Yeah, that was bad.
And I'm so sorry because I was the one that recommended it. The cover looked awesome, and it seemed like a decent rise of the king.
This is why we don't take Megan's recommendations. We take
Wow,
Emerald
yeah.
City's recommendations.
Exactly.
I
Hold on,
know.
Let me turn her mic
I'm
off
just
real
kidding.
quick.
No,
No, but
seriously, that was. I looked at the best stories to read, and that was one that came up.
It wasn't horrible, but I was just reading it, and I'm like, this is why I read DC. Like,
we've got to do Old Man Logan too.
oh yeah,
You
we've done Old Man Logan for this, haven't we? No, we just did Wolverine.
Yeah, we just did Wolverine.
Actually, Old Man Logan's probably the last thing I read, and that was
That-
only about a year ago.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
reread
yeah.
it about a year ago.
Okay, then that'd be good for you guys because I haven't read that one. I definitely would have to read it.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
I feel like I need to catch up on this Marvel stuff though. Just some of the things you tell me, I'm like, huh? What?
Yeah.
The Thor story right now is really good too. I know that was
It's a
one.
Thory.
It's a Thori.
At the Thoy.
But I know that that's one that we've talked about a couple times that I wanted to bring out, and that story is pretty good so far.
I want to love that story, but the fact that they're involving Fortnite for me, I was like, I don't like
that
this.
was just for a one-off.
Like, see it still. I started seeing that, and I was like, I love the idea that Thor's the Herald of Galactus. I'm interested in seeing that, but I don't know.
It wasn't even like a one-off. It was literally just like buried in a Fantastic Four comic for some reason.
I think I need like my top 3 things I need to read for Marvel. Top 3 series. So if any of you out there in Radio Land have any suggestions for me, please leave it.
Top 3.
On the old Facebook page.
You know what? Let's put that out there on Instagram. And
What
on,
you want me to read.
Facebook. What are the top 3 Marvel story arcs that Mark needs to read?
What does Cyborg Mark need to download from the Marvel world?
What does he need to virtually interface with and assimilate into his library of knowledge?
I know you guys are joking, but I'm just one of those guys. I have to hold a comic. My brother-in-law, he reads probably 20 comics a week. He does them all on his iPad. I'm like,
No,
I can't do it. I gotta hold it.
I can read books on my phone or
Honey,
something. What?
That's exactly what a cyborg would say. Don't trust him.
Oh.
I hate technology.
Man, this technology is dumb. I need real paper comic book.
I can adjust to reading books on like Kindle or whatever, just because. I mean, it makes it easy because if he's sitting there playing video games, I don't have to turn the light on. I can just sit there and read it. But I can't do comics either. I've downloaded a couple comics on like my Kindle to read, and I just can't. Like I'm already blind, and reading it on a Kindle, it's like I can't. I feel so stupid like trying to zoom in. I gotta hold it too. I'm the same way.
It was funny because when we were gonna do originally, like way back, like 20-something episodes ago, we were gonna do Batman vs. Punisher for an episode.
Yeah,
And I could not find it anywhere.
I have it.
Emerald City didn't have it.
I have it.
Nobody had it. Well, I'll borrow
I'll let
it.
you read it.
We
Well,
have it.
what happened was I downloaded it and I put it on my thing and I read the first 3 pages. I'm like, I can't do this. I tried. It was my only option at the time, besides asking you apparently. But it was my only option at the time. And I couldn't do it. So I'm like,
Well, we have it.
And then you're like, oh, we're going to do this instead. I'm like, perfect.
Thank God.
There's just something, I just liked it. I like holding the comic.
Yeah. There's something about, like,
I could put it on my little bookshelf, and I got it all.
There's something about the nostalgia behind certain practices for certain things, and I can 100%, as somebody who didn't read comics growing up, I can 100% understand that.
Yeah. But it's funny because I love holding, like when they do volumes, perfect. That's pretty much the only way I buy comics now. Like I went through my old lawn box with a lot of like 90s X-Men stuff and some really cool Spider-Man stuff. But just opening up like that old paper smell, I'm like, oh, I can't get over this.
Yeah.
I love you. Let me love you.
Because when we did our X-Men, our character bio on X-Men way back in the day, I read the first 5 issues of X-Men because I had it in my lawn box. But man, it was the crinkly paper, and it just had that pungent odor to it. I couldn't get past it.
Creepy paper.
Creepy paper.
Yeah, I'm actually in the middle of putting that up
show.
right now and saying, what is it that Cyborg Mark needs to read? Tell us all. And I have a suggestion for you, too, but you've already read it.
I want each of you to give me a suggestion right now. What you got?
My suggestion for you is Absolute Carnage.
Okay.
Absolute Carnage.
Is that in a volume edition?
Yes, it is. I have the trade paperback at home if you want it.
Can I borrow it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're asking Marvel?
Yeah.
Oh, the only one that I've really read start to finish has been Thor.
How do you feel about it? Which run of Thor?
Yeah,
the one that's out right now. There's only 9 issues out right now.
So you didn't read the whole thing?
Only
no,
9 issues.
I'm saying I've read up through the current issue. That's issue 9.
That's a commitment. That's more than I'm doing. So.
Yeah, and I mean I subscribe to it at Emerald City. That's what you call it. They put it in our box every time it releases. So I mean, really, is there? Can you think of anything that I've read that's the first thing that comes to mind?
Jeez. Let's see.
Like, what's the best Thor story?
What is the best Thor story? My favorite Thor story is Unworthy Thor.
Yeah.
Oh, is that when he gets cast off?
I have read.
It's where
I've read bits
he's
and pieces
unable
of
to
that.
pick up Mjolnir anymore. Yeah.
That's a pretty good story. I have read that one too.
That's a pretty.
I'm hearing favorite and pretty good, so I'm getting conflicted.
Pretty feral Thor. Well, you're also talking about a huge Thor fan.
Gotcha.
And somebody.
And I haven't read all of Unworthy.
So I'm
Thor.
probably closer to you, Jack. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
being a huge Thor fan.
I'm more excited when Beta Ray Bill shows up. When Beta Ray Bill shows up, I'm a fangirl. I am
Beta Ray Bill's in the new
squealing
line.
like a girl.
Briefly,
and what she read to me about it, I was like,
yeah, he does fangirl.
I love Beta Ray Bill.
He does. Yeah, because Beta Ray Bill's pretty much puts Thor in his place.
Always.
Like, if you're going to act like an ass, I'm going to kick your ass. Oh. Like, let's go. I'm not going to let you do this. Yeah, it's pretty dope.
I see why you like him.
I love Bill. He's my guy.
Yeah, he is honor like through and through.
Other story arcs that you could read.
Like, I've read like Age of Ultron. I've read Days of Future Past. I've read.
You can read Secret Wars.
The original.
You know, it's a good one.
I've read the original Secret Wars,
Oh.
not the new one.
Yeah, I haven't. He got it for me for my birthday, and I still haven't finished it.
The one from a couple years ago, 5 years ago.
I think so.
Which one did I get you?
You got me the thick paperback, or the thick trade paperback.
Oh,
was it from like 2015 or like 1995?
No, like 2015.
Okay.
Let's see.
But I haven't. We've been on and off reading so much stuff. I haven't been able to dive into it because it's a big one.
I liked Punisher War Machine a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of was a Def Jack Russell. You let him out, and there's really no way to pull it back in and go, okay. And the way it ended, I think, was kind of stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked seeing Punisher in the War Machine armor.
That's cool.
I mean, just imagine Punisher in the War Machine armor.
I've seen that helmet before. I'm like, that is cool.
Exactly the way you think Frank Castle acts. That's how he acts.
Okay.
See, I don't read a lot of Marvel stuff because I read like the Rat Queens, like the D&D stuff and Saga.
Well, there you go.
Rat Queens is a cool one, but I mean, it's just a bunch of like.
I was like, we'll tell him that, but he asked for Marvel.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like that, I read comics, I just don't read a whole lot of Marvel stuff right now.
The last series I read before, because I usually wait till the volume comes out, but the last series I read issue by issue and was on the edge of my seat for was Spider-Man, the Clone Saga, which was a huge mess.
Ooh.
It went for 4 years and ended very unfavorably.
Oh, that's the worst.
They kind of lost their way about halfway through and started going, okay, how do we make this longer? Because it was selling really well. It started really nicely. and it pulled people in right away. And then like, okay, well, we were going to do 10 issues. How do we make it 20 issues? So they're like, okay, we'll do this. Okay, now it's 20. Well, it's still selling, so let's make it 30 issues. So they just kept doing that till they hit like 50 issues, and by the time they got to the end, they're just like, we fumbled it.
That's what I think happened with Deadpool versus Spider-Man. That was great in the beginning. There was depth to Deadpool's interactions with Spider-Man. The way it starts out, Spider-Man hates Deadpool. Spider-Man is the reason, or Deadpool's the reason Spider-Man quits the Avengers.
Wow.
He doesn't like him, but Deadpool's in love with Spider-Man. Like, you want to be your best friend, man. And it's that dynamic of them learning about each other, whether they want to or not. And they slowly but surely started to, hit their stride. And then I was like, oh no, they're just doing the two big, huge property thing where we're just going to put them together and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And
wackiness ensues.
That made me angry.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm not a fan of this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm posting it right now. I hope we get some good ones. Hey, you told us One More Day, Spider-Man One More Day. We have that at home.
that one up.
Oh, yeah. That's a very good one.
So, yeah.
I think all the story. Okay, now I'm thinking about it. I think I just read a lot of Spider-Man because like there's like Kraven's Last Hunt, which is top tier gold level comic. So, I think I just read a lot of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't think I really ventured out into the other Marvel stuff for some reason. I did a lot of Ghost Rider back in the day, but all that the Spider-Man side stories, I never really got into like the Venom series and the Carnage series and all that. So maybe I should have. We're gonna find out.
I think you'll really like Absolute Carnage. I really like it.
I read Maximum Carnage back in the day.
Yeah, right?
And I played the Sega Genesis game.
I read Deadpool versus Thanos. That was good, too.
Oh, I never read that.
Deadpool wins. Yeah. As impossible as that sounds, read the comic.
Oh, I bet it makes sense.
Well, all right. I think, you know what? I think this has been a successful NoVenomber.
Yes, it has.
What do you guys
certainly
think?
has.
The first of many, hopefully.
We haven't been canceled yet.
We're actually doing pretty well. We're chugging right along.
I know.
Half a year we've been doing this now?
I know. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're doing things.
When we looked for names and we found Alter Ego, we looked at other Alter Ego podcasts. Let me preface this by saying we have not listened to them. We don't know who they are. Sure, they're wonderful people. But we now, I think, have more episodes than the other ones did.
We do. Okay, so I was going to bring this up to you privately, but I'll bring it up to you publicly now.
Oh, boy.
Because I'm an algorithm online whatever guy. So now because before when you would go to iTunes and type in Alter Ego podcast, a fashion podcast from 2015 will pop up first. But because we have so many positive 5-star reviews, we're the first podcast that comes up for Alter Ego now.
Do we have a lot of positive 5-star reviews?
We do.
I don't ever listen
So
to
thank you,
them.
everybody, for leaving us 5-star reviews on iTunes and Spotify. And if you wouldn't mind continuing to do so, if you haven't done it yet, we would really appreciate it. It helps us come up higher in the algorithm.
That's outstanding. I didn't know that. You guys are awesome.
I didn't know that either.
I signed up for 87 iTunes accounts. Wow, the rank's so
you
high.
Bastard.
No, I didn't.
No, I know. I'm just being funny, but that's hilarious.
I did not leave
see
us a
that
review,
coming. Hey, thank you, Jen. I love you.
Nah, she
You're
didn't.
the best.
She didn't do
You
anything.
didn't. You're the worst, Jen. I thought we were friends.
So thank you, guys. It means a
Yeah.
lot to me, and it means a lot to them when I tell them.
Happy NoVenomber.
Yes.
Hope you had a great Thanksgiving.
Yeesh.
We will be back here in December with Lord knows what.
For December.
What could possibly
December.
And then Januaryember. And then Februaryember.
No, we had something else for
that's gonna be
January. I
ridiculous.
forget what it was.
What's
Serial killers.
Cerealwary.
Cerealwary.
Oh, my goodness. Well, there's the rock and roll music. You know what time it is. Thank you so much for checking out the Alter Ego podcast, and we will see you next week. Happy Thanksgiving, happy NoVenomber, and we'll see you in December.
Turkey, turkey, turkey.
Rob says this is where he puts all the ads.
Mm.
So people haven't listened to this yet. I'm sorry. If you got through all the ads for this part, I love you. You're
Yes,
amazing.
We love you.
And Ryan hasn't said anything the whole episode.
Yeah,
No,
he's
he
just been
hasn't.
sitting there quietly. Whatever. It's fine. He'll be back.